We had a good day today. They're actually
Anxiety, filling up every space, no privacy. And silently, it could build and build until you finally see, whoa, it's taking over, damn no closure, moving closer. No exposure, I just wanna be a loner. Some can't stay sober, looking over all their shoulders. Like moving boulders just to get out of the...
Hello everybody, Connor Hill here with Horsing Around. Yes, and it's been a while since I've been on this show, mostly because, well, I missed the last couple weeks between travel and just craziness, and I was in Italy, and I think so. In the last couple weeks, I was in Italy, and I also facilitated a Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider class, the largest class I've done yet in St. Petersburg, Russia. And I also facilitated another one, another Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider class in Italy. And these classes were so different. Well, for one, we were lucky enough at the St. Petersburg Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider to be included in Dr. Dane Heer's energetic synthesis of being. So what the heck is that? Well, we'll talk more about that later. But for now, the Italian Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider was super cool because I've been asking to facilitate a training with executives, business executives. And actually at this training, I had business executives. And as we like to say in Access Consciousness, it never shows up the way you think it's going to. And it didn't. And this class in Italy was extra special for me personally because it was actually the first time that I asked Conscious Horse. I feel like really bad about this. I've been doing this so long and I haven't asked Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider what it wants. So a lot of you out there might be like, why does that matter? How can you ask something that isn't a person what it wants? Well, one of the tools we have with Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider, if you've seen this show at all before, before you get on a horse, you always ask it, hey, will you take care of me? Well, you can also ask it, if you own a horse, you want to ask that horse, what do you want your job to be? If you're trying to, if I'm speaking more conventional horse activities, in modern day, not like 300 years ago, if you're like, hey, do you want to be a jumping horse, or do you want to be a roping horse, or a cutting horse, or do you want to hack, or do you want to whatever, what do you want your job to be? And so it's a question you want to ask your horse so you get a sense of what they want to create as their lives. And also if that job that they have for them doesn't work for you, you can figure it out. But if you want more information, come to a Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider training. Now, we're not here to talk about that today. What we're here to talk about today is what Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider told me, what I got a sense it wants. Now, does that mean I'm right? No, but I asked and this is what I got. Somebody else might ask and get something different, but I am right because I've been doing this for so long. Jeez. And I really got potency. And I was like, what? And I really got a sense of what makes Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider different, not only from anything else that is horse related, but not also what makes it different from other other Access Consciousness classes. Now, I'm sorry I'm talking so slow tonight, but I got 1,000 things going through my head, and I'm in a whole new city that I've never really been in. At least not this time of year. So there's like crazy amounts of birds making all sorts of noise. I'm like, wow, what's going on out there? And there's just a beautiful river. Come check it out. Look at that. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. It's gorgeous. So, conscious horse, conscious rider. And basically it said potency. Now, what the fuck is potency? A lot of people throw that word around all over the place. And maybe we'll talk a little bit more of that later, because actually what I'd like to talk about first, and sorry it's so dark, but it's 11 o'clock at night and I don't have my normal lighting set up, and it's 11 o'clock at night and I'm like, I've got a freaking 2-month-old baby, so I'm also like, oh my God, I'm so ready for sleep. So all of you out there who are tired, I'm just gonna ask this question: who or what are you tired of? And everything creating that, times the God's image, just trying to create it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, public, night, shorts, boys, povads, and beyonds. That's the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement. If you want more information about that, go to theclearingstatement.com. My next question: if you're tired, who does this belong to? Is it yours or someone else's? If it felt like that it's yours, pock and pot everywhere you bought it is yours, and return it to sender with consciousness attached. Now, why do you return it with consciousness attached? Why don't you just return it? Well, if you return it with consciousness attached, hopefully it lightens up for them a little bit, so they're not like one of these screaming birds, and you're not like, oh my God, enough. I get it. You're tired, whatever. I've heard it plenty of times now. So now that we've done that, hopefully I can wake up a little bit more. Whew. Either that or there is a lot of unconsciousness out there in the world. Oh, that's right. We're talking about potency. There's a lot of people that don't want to be the potency they be. There's a lot of people talking about being the potency they be, but they don't even know what it means. And so, taking a sidestep, I said earlier how I recognized how conscious horse, conscious rider is so different from anything else horse. It's because it's not a method. It's not a method. It's not a method for riding horses. It's not like apply this method to ride a horse. Sorry. The reality actually is with conscious horse, conscious rider, I do the best I can do, and I'm pretty good at it. I'm really good at it, actually, to facilitate you in having more ease to learn from the horse how to ride the horse. What? There you go. Oh my God. Now, why am I so good at it? Well, I've ridden a lot of different horses in a lot of different countries, in a lot of different places, and they are different everywhere you go, as you can imagine. And interestingly enough, they end up taking on a little bit of their own country and culture's energy. And we go through a lot about energy. Like, what's your first language? Like the last call I did, the last radio show we did here was talking a lot about what your first language is and that it's energy. Now, it's not a method. Definitely not a method. That's why it's called conscious horse, conscious rider. It's not the Gary Douglas method. It's conscious horse, conscious rider. Because it's all about you. Okay? As it should be. Because if you're on the back of a horse, it should be all about you. And if it ain't all about you, make sure you make it all about you. Otherwise, you might get kicked off and or kicked in the face and or kicked somewhere else or stepped on or whatever. And everything that brought up for everybody, times the Godzilla and destroying a great at all. Right or wrong, good, bad, public, online, shorts, boys, povads, and beyonds. Oh, this is a good one. Oh, there's a whole lot of people out there that have no desire to choose their potency and have also defined what potency is. So all the definitions you have for what potency is, that it isn't, will you destroy and uncreate all those? Times a godzillion. Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, line, shorts, boys, poveds, and beyonds. No, it's a radio show, and I really shouldn't be pocking and potting as much as I am. But this is just heavy. Y'all is just heavy. Okay? There ain't a whole lot of other ways I know how to get around it than to pock and pod y'all and change that shit. All right? So, what have you defined as not potency that actually is? Ooh, wow, that was good. Everything that is for all of you times a godzillion, just trying to create it all. Right or wrong, good, bad, pop, line, shorts, boys, poveds, and beyond. So, what does that really mean? Basically, that means I'm going to close this window because I see mosquitoes making their way in. I don't like mosquitoes. I don't like being bitten by mosquitoes. What does that mean? That basically means like you've got all these thoughts, feelings, and emotions as to what potency is. Is it actually that? And you've got all these thoughts, feelings, and emotions as to what potency is not. And is that really true? Or is some of that stuff actually potency? Because one of the biggest things that shows up with like this reality, and I say this reality, I mean like especially with social structures, let's call it that. Social structures is families, people, school systems, churches, religions, cults, obviously, and governments, everything really have made it wrong to be potent. Or people make you wrong when you become potent, mostly because they get scared. They don't like it because they don't have control over you anymore when you're totally potent. And people really like to have control over others because if they don't have control over somebody, they freak out. Not everybody, but most everybody. So with horses, I've really learned that they don't do that. That's not how they function. They actually invite and invite and require you and desire of you to be everything you be and to be as potent as you be and to be your potency. Like, and there's really no better way for me to work around it. I mean, we can talk until the cows come home, literally, and the cows coming home are not going to give you your potency. Us sitting here talking about it is not really going to give you your potency. There's a lot of other things we can do, and these conscious horse, conscious rider classes are a phenomenal way to begin to allow yourself to access the potency, for one. And being with horses in general is another great way. But because of those limitations, because of those social and systematic structures in place that I talked about before, a lot of people tend to take those methods for control and they try to put it on a horse. And they do put it on a horse. They don't just try, they do. And instead of having a horse that functions like a horse, they have a horse that acquiesces to person reality. And that's really when you don't have this gifting and receiving reality, simultaneity of gifting and receiving. And that's what you want. Because a horse really just wants to take care of you. And it's really just going, hey, what do you want? And it really desires for you to be the potency you be. And I really recognized that at this Italy class. I was like, wow, wow. And I realized myself that there's a lot of places I had not allowed myself to truly be potent. Mostly because, from my point of view, if I was to be potent, I had bought it somewhere that I was abusive. How many of you have bought the lie that if you're to be potent, you're abusive? This is where that "who does this belong to" tool come in play. And also the clearing statement. So let's use the clearing statement and everything that brought up for all of you. Everywhere any of you bought the lie that when you're potent, you're abusive. Well, you're destroying and create it all. Ouch. Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, line, shorts, boys, poveds, and beyonds. Now, this isn't a card to go out and go be abusive to horses or anyone else. Because that's what people are going to do. Oh, I can do this because I'm not being abusive. I'm just being potent. Oh, F off. But that's where you've got to be willing. And this is the biggest thing the horses have shown me, is the willingness to go F off. You're being abusive. You're not being potent. And a lot of you out there are sitting out there right now trying to think about this in a logical manner. And that's just not how it works. And that is exactly why talking about it doesn't facilitate it. That's why getting out there and being with horses and receiving from horses is such a dynamic contribution. And quite possibly why Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider desires to be that in the world. Oh my God, how does it get any better than that? So I'm going to call it an evening as I continue to keep calling these early calls, because it's 11 o'clock at night and I got a young little baby to go, sleep with. That's fun. Now, I hope I didn't talk about too much with you tonight. I hope I didn't talk about too little. But if you're an avid horse person, maybe ask your horse, what can you show me today? And let it show you. What if everything it did was it showing you something? And just remember, it never looks the way you think it's going to. Till next time, everybody, this is Horsing Around with Connor Hill.